If you think to learn anything from my death, then you are wrong.
He is overconfident. Observe how he handles his lightsaber. He is using Ataru, an aggressive form, best suited for single opponents. You can easily defeat him by encircling him with your companions or by using blaster fire. Be wary of his power attack, however, as it is further enhanced using this form. You have him on the defensive. He uses the Sheen Form. Study his movements carefully and try to emulate them. This form will be useful when you face multiple opponents or ranged attack. Sheen also allows you to make more devastating critical attacks. It would serve you well to assimilate the style this Jedi is demonstrating. It is called Nieman, and it is a very balanced form. Nieman offers none of the specific strengths of other forms, but neither does it have their weaknesses. Predictably, he seeks to unbalance you with his erratic attacks. His technique is called Giulio, the most chaotic of the lightsaber forms. This form sacrifices much to bolster offense, leaving one exposed to attack by the Force. He has made a grave error in assuming you lack the power to harm him with the Force. Note the strength of his Force powers. He is desperate to finish you quickly, so he uses a potent form of the Force. Defeat him by going on the defensive and absorbing his attacks with the Force. He will quickly run out of energy and then you can finish him easily. He is being typically cautious. He isn't sure of your strengths and weaknesses, so he is using a Force form that grants him greater affinity to the Force. This allows him to more quickly regenerate his energies. Don't be drawn into a long battle. Once you understand his technique, attack him aggressively while he dawdles. He may appear stronger in the Force than you, but this is merely an illusion granted by a certain mastery of the Force. The powers he uses against you will not directly harm you, but he seeks to weaken and confound you. Exploit the weakness of his form by using your own Force powers against him.
Your power is undeniable, but it won't be enough. What? Damn you. You must die. I will not have you teach the others the secrets of the Jedi.
Are you arrogant enough to think you can divide your attention while fighting me? You think you can learn my technique just by watching me? It takes a Jedi Master years to perfect it. It's not possible. You must be stopped.
If battle is the only thing you yet learn from me, then that is the only victory this day. What are you waiting for? So, it is as KoTOR feared. You have taken what you have learned of the Jedi and used that knowledge against us. Come, that form is still new to you. Let us see if you have the years to back it up.
It is something the Sith, the assassins that stalk us, can do. It is of the dark side, the ability to feed on life, the Force. The closer one comes to it, it makes them stronger for a time. Not all techniques in the Force are learned through practice and training. This is something instinctual, born from experience. It is a way that they fill the hollow places where the Force used to be. It is something the Sith, the assassins that stalk us, can do. It is of the dark side, the ability to feed on life, the Force. The closer one comes to it, it makes them stronger for a time. Not all techniques in the Force are learned through practice and training. This is something instinctual, born from experience. It is a way that they fill the hollow places where the Force used to be.
There is something I would like to teach you. It is a technique which, I believe, will aid you in the trials ahead. This is Ataru, an aggressive lightsaber form which is best used against a single opponent. Take care when you face multiple adversaries, and be sure to close the distance between ranged attackers quickly, as your ability to deflect blaster fire will be diminished. Never before have the Jedi been so greatly outnumbered. You will doubtless encounter many situations with multiple assailants. To defend yourself against extraordinary numbers, use the Sheen Form. This style will also increase your ability to deflect blaster bolts. Many of the lightsaber forms you've already learned will bolster your abilities in one area, while leaving you vulnerable in others. For superior balance, use the Nieman form. This form has no specific strengths, but no weaknesses either. It will provide a decent defense versus enemy force powers and blaster fire. There are times when you want to overwhelm a particular opponent quickly. For these situations, use the Giulio form. Do not get carried away using this form, particularly against Dark Jedi. The ferocity required to use this form leaves one vulnerable to enemy force powers. The Jedi Order generally scorns the unnecessary use of the Force as a weapon. However, sometimes it is necessary to deal with certain powerful threats with a potent Force attack. This form is used for such dire situations. Be warned, though, using your powers in this manner will quickly deplete your Force energy. As demonstrated here on Onderon, great conflict is often resolved slowly, through a drawn-out war of attrition. To persevere through long battles, a Jedi must reserve his Force energy. This form offers greater affinity to the Force, increasing the rate at which you regenerate your Force energy during combat. The philosophy of Force mastery states that a Jedi's powers are best used without the direct intent to harm another. Here is a form that will aid in that philosophy. Through careful concentration, the duration of many of your Force powers will be enhanced. But be cautious when you face Dark Jedi. This form drains energy quickly and decreases resistance to Force powers. Excellent! I'm impressed with how quickly you've mastered this form. I always knew you were gifted.
I suppose there is something I should show you. It will keep you alive long enough to prove useful. Now watch and learn. This form is a Taru. Because it is such an aggressive fighting style, you should only use it against single opponents. And don't try using this form amidst heavy fire. Nothing is more embarrassing for a Jedi than to be cut down by a stray blaster shot. I'm only going to demonstrate this once. This is the Sheen Form, a defensive stance that's good when you're outnumbered, which is most of the time. This form will increase your ability to deflect blaster fire, and it increases the odds of dealing critical strikes against your attackers. I'm not sure if this lesson will be to your liking. This is Niemann, a lightsaber form of balance, which contradicts the recklessness that you have so often exhibited. Using this technique provides no particular strengths, but also lacks the weaknesses of some of the more aggressive forms. I hesitate to teach this to you because of your demonstrated recklessness. This is Giulio, a very ferocious form of lightsaber offense. It goes without saying to exercise proper control and restraint when using this technique. It may allow you to eviscerate a lone enemy, but it will leave you open to attack by Force powers. Using the Force as a weapon is a sticky issue. Many Jedi feel it leads to the dark side. My experience has taught me that it's lack of discipline that leads a Jedi astray. Use this form with proper restraint, and it will enhance the potency of your Force attacks. However, if you are reckless with this form, you will quickly drain your Force energy. When you are facing a long campaign, you need to be more conservative with how you use your Force energy. This form gives you increased Force affinity. In simple terms, it helps you to quickly regenerate Force energy in the middle of a fight. You may lack the discipline for this, but I will attempt to teach you anyway. This form is considered the pinnacle of Force mastery. Now watch carefully. This subtle technique enhances the duration of many Force powers at your disposal. However, the focus required for this form can drain your energy quickly and leave you vulnerable to Force attack. I don't know how you learned that so quickly. Still, your form is sloppy. Keep practicing to tighten it up and you'll be fine.
But we have spoken enough, I think. In words I think dull us both. Let us speak through the Force, through sparring. This form you may have already seen much of during the Mandalorian Wars, but it is fitting to speak using elements of the past, I think. Ataru is the name given to the movements of this form. Though it is aggressive, it is focused, and its best use is in combat against a single opponent. This form is somewhat less useful in deflecting blaster shots. Use it when dealing with opponents in close combat, not against a battalion firing heavy blasters at you. This Sheen Form should prove appropriate. Its best use is when you are outnumbered, which I fear suits our predicament perfectly. You will find it easier to deflect blaster fire with this form, and it shall also guard you against critical strikes by your opponents. Sometimes, sparring with another can achieve a form of meditation. The Niemann form is one of the best such techniques. There is no great strengths, no edge in such a form, but yet, it achieves its worth in not leaving you as exposed as some of the more aggressive forms. Its strength is its balance. You are at home in places of war and battle. This form may already be known to you. It is Giulio, a ferocious form of lightsaber offense. Against an armed enemy, it is powerful indeed, but against an enemy armed with the Force, you will find them a difficult foe indeed. It has been some time since you have used the Force, it is true, but there are techniques to enhance one's tie to the Force, to make your influence through the Force more potent. Yet, even as such techniques can enhance the Force, they should be used cautiously. They can drain you quickly, leaving you at the mercy of your opponents. This is a long war, I fear, with many battles left to fight. You will need to conserve your strength when using the Force, if you hope to make it through the long road ahead. This form heightens your affinity to the Force, allowing you to gather your strength faster, even in the midst of combat. This is among one of the greatest techniques of the Jedi Master. Yet when one has seen all that you have, it is such a simple thing, you may wonder why you did not notice it before. Do you feel it gathering within you? Now, slowly, let it out. Slowly. This technique allows you to maintain your Force powers for longer than normal, though the energy and discipline required is great. Perhaps Exile has been good to you indeed. It has certainly not dulled your instincts, nor the speed at which you learn.